Your new welcome. I'm Brooke, and I like to talk about all things manifesting, right? And building the life of your dreams. And how do we do that? We do that through our thoughts, because remember, our thoughts become things. So I primarily teach the law of assumption, which, if you're not familiar with, that is a Neville Goddard kind of teaching. And he talked about what you assume to be true is what will materialize in your 3D world. So typically I always give a lesson at the top. Today I am live on Facebook as well as TikTok at the same time. So this is the first time I'm doing this. So if you see me glancing up at another screen, it's because I'm gonna keep tabs on both chats just to see what people are asking. But specifically today I wanted to talk about doubt, right? Because doubt often comes up when we are creating our reality or manifesting, so to speak. And remember, you are the creator. You're manifesting constantly, the good and the bad. All of your thoughts are becoming things. So it's not that you should be doubting your manifestation when things pop up into your 3D that's unfavorable or that you don't like, because it came from you, because you're the creator. So don't doubt your creation because you assume that it was just previous thinking. So it's about kind of flipping the narrative when you think about doubt and giving it good meaning and trusting and knowing that you're the creator, you're powerful. And because you created something that you don't like, you can uncreate it. So you shouldn't sweat it, you shouldn't worry, you shouldn't stress. You just say, okay, I know that I'm the creator, I know that this thing came from me, and I know that I can change it. Because a lot of the times that's where doubt comes from, is when you see something in your 3D that you don't like or something that is unfavorable. So you start to question it. But just trust and know that it's a part of the unfolding, right? Neville Goddard talks a lot about the bridge of incidents, and what that means is it's a series of events that had to take place in order for your manifestation to come to fruition. So whenever I start to doubt my manifestation, because remember, I'm a human too, and I am not exempt from any of this. So yes, I have a strong mental diet and a disciplined mind, but I do catch myself, of course, thinking like, what if this doesn't work out? Or, there's this obstacle that I'm creating that I know is in the way, right? I go back to my I amness and knowing that I am the creator and that it came from me. And because it came from me, I can change it. So another thing that Neville Goddard talks a lot about is being the operant power. And what does that mean? It's the operating power. So anything, any thought, any story that you have around something, it came from you. It came from your conditioning. It came from a belief system. It came maybe from an upbringing, or maybe it was something that you were taught in school. But that doesn't mean that you have to adopt it and make it a part of your reality, because if you're the creator, then you get to make up the rules. You are the operant power, the one that's operating. So let's just say you're trying to manifest money and you have a belief that money is the root of all evil, or maybe you have a thought of money is something that you have to work really hard for and you need to put in a lot of hours and a lot of time and a lot of hustle and a lot of grit, then that will be true for you, right? That's a rule or condition that you're creating for your reality. But if you also give it a different narrative, and this is what I've personally done, I always say money comes to me easily. It comes to me effortlessly. Money loves me, right? Every dollar I spend comes back to me tenfold. I'm a money magnet. I'm a money making machine. So really it's about just telling yourself a better story, giving it a better narrative, and developing a better rule when it comes to your relationship with money. And that goes for anything that you're manifesting. That could be love, that could be something in the realm of your career, maybe like leadership, maybe starting a business. So it just depends on whatever it is that you are creating. Just make sure you give it good meaning, because you don't have to necessarily stick to the script, stick to the story that you were conditioned to, because a lot of us were brought up with ideas and certain perceptions of how things are in this world, but that doesn't mean that they're true. And if you're the creator, you can change your perspective, you can change that lens. And the key with manifesting is persisting in that new story. And a lot of the times people will adopt a new belief, and then 5 minutes later they'll go back to the one that they know because it's comfortable. So you really have to live in the end and just be mindful of your thoughts and keep going back to the new story, because it's inevitable that the old story will come up, right? I mean, it does. It happens. It's natural. It's what you've been thinking your entire life for decades, in some instances, in some cases. So it's really just about who are you being in this present moment, because the present moment is the only moment that we have. And I like to really view myself and my life as I am the moment, right? I get to choose, I get to decide. So I can change anything in an instant. Thank you so much for the heart, May. So when you know that you can change it in an instant, you know that you're powerful. You know that you're the creator. So creation is done the second you think the new thought. It's about persisting in that story and not wavering and going back and forth. And yes, the old story can come up, but we just don't give it our attention. We don't give it our energy. We don't give it our focus. We just say, so what, right? So what that this is coming up? That's not me. I don't have to identify with that. Like, that doesn't even resonate with me. I don't even like that belief. So you get to decide and you get to choose. So what are you choosing in your reality? Are you creating a life that you love, or are you living in survival? Are you saying that things are hard? Are you saying that you're in lack and things never work out for you, and that you're unlucky and that you're never chosen? And are you being the victim, or are you being the hero in your story and knowing and trusting that things are always working out for you, and that you always get what you want, and that you are a priority, and that you are loved, and that you are cared for, and that you are abundant? You get to decide what story do you have on repeat? What conversation are you having with yourself day in and day out? Because ultimately, we are the loudest voice in our heads, right? So really, it's important to be mindful of your inner conversations and the way that you are speaking to yourself. And you want to make sure it's a nice way. You want to make sure it's uplifting. You want to make sure it's in alignment with who you are being, so that you can create the life that you want to live. So hi, welcome. If you're new, my name is Brooke, and I always give like a little talk at the beginning of my lives, and then I answer questions. I do answer every single person's questions, so I will get to your question. Just make sure you give me a second, because sometimes I do get behind because I answer every single person's question, but I will get to it. Today I am streaming on Facebook at the same time, so if you see me looking over at Facebook, it's because I am streaming there as well, and I'm going to be looking at questions on Facebook simultaneously. Okay, Catherine said, so what role can manifestation play in helping a traumatized mind reconnect with possibility? Love this question. It's a great one. So when you know that you're the creator, all possibilities truly exist. All versions of you exist. It's just a matter of you aligning with the version of you that you desire. So I kind of put the question back on you as, what do you desire? Because right now you're in a place where you are, from your question, where you're aligning with trauma. And that's okay, right? We all have things that come up in our life. That's what shapes who we are. And I think that we should definitely feel our feelings. It's important not to suppress them, but there is a time where we kind of have to ask ourselves, okay, am I still being defined by my trauma? Am I basing my life choices and my life decisions off of circumstances and conditions that took place in the past and that are no longer a factor? And I'm just holding on to them, right? Because I always say, a lot of the times, a lot of my clients are so in love with their trauma story that they just live by it. It becomes a part of their identity. It becomes a part of their personality. And your personality becomes your personal reality, what you see in your screen of space and time, or your 3D. So really, manifestation is something that you're always doing. It's not something that you're just starting. You've always been doing it. So every thought that you think, good or bad, favorable or unfavorable, manifests into your 3D. So with your question, what role can manifestation play in helping a traumatized mind reconnect with possibility? Know that all possibilities exist and that you can choose differently here and now, right now, in this present moment. You get to decide, you get to choose. So who do you want to be? And I don't know, maybe you have something in mind when it comes to your love life. Maybe it's something career-wise. Maybe it's just being healthy and healed. So it's really ultimately up to you, but it's about adopting a new story and stopping to identifying with the story of being traumatized, right? Because then you're just going to create more trauma, more sadness, more illness, more unfavorable things that you don't want. So what possibility do you want to invest in? And I do ask that question genuinely. You can put it in the chat and I can help you answer it. Dildy, hi, how are you? It's good to see you. I also, to answer your question, do something called core wound healing. And that's coming to a place of acceptance. And I think that's a good place to start when you have trauma. It's coming to a place of acceptance with that trauma, and then you can move on to manifesting. That was my personal journey, right? That's how I started this whole thing, was that I had trauma that I was dealing with, and I was letting it define me, and I was so sad, and I felt so hopeless, and when I started to heal from that, I was then able to launch pad into manifestation and into this work and into this world. And it really, truly changed my entire life. So, that's also an option as well. Ayana said, excuses people have. Yeah, a lot of the times people like to live by their circumstances, or that's kind of excuses, things that are unfavorable in your world, things that you don't like. They focus on all of the reasons why they can't do something as opposed to putting their time and energy into why they can do something. So it's really important to just be mindful of who are you being. Oh, good. We have 80 people. Yay! Okay, K-Pup said, I haven't been successful manifesting a husband. I need help trying something different. Okay, so here's the thing, K-Pup. What you're going to do is you're going to stop telling yourself the story of I haven't been successful at manifesting a husband, because that's what you're creating more of, and that's what you're living in the end of now. And I understand you're here to ask the question, but a lot of the times the answer is in our questions, right? Because you're currently identifying with a version of you that is single, that has been unsuccessful. So first, stop telling that story of I've been unsuccessful trying to manifest a husband, and step into the identity and the thinking of the version of you that's already married. And what does that look like? So what I teach is primarily self-concept work. So it's not about manifesting the thing, right? It's never about the person, the money, the house, or the car. It's about you and the way that you view yourself. So start saying, I'm a person that's loved, I'm chosen, I'm prioritized, I'm cared for, I'm treasured, I'm adored, I'm someone's everything, I'm a catch, I'm a dream partner, I'm always supported, I'm provided for, I'm lovable, I'm captivating, I'm irresistible, I'm a goddess or a god, right? So start speaking life into yourself and building up your self-concept, because right now your self-concept is I'm a person that's unsuccessful at manifesting, and I'm a person that's single and that doesn't have a husband, and that's not the end you want to live in. So go to the end of commitment. I'm a person that's committed to. I'm a person that's always chosen. And I don't care what the 3D shows you, you're going to persist in that new thinking. That's the key. So if you go out with friends and you feel like you're the single one, or you're invited to the wedding and you're like, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, you're going to say, that's not me, because I know that I'm chosen. I know that I'm loved. I know that I'm worthy. I know that I'm deserving, and that I always get what I want. And you're going to stick with that new story, and it will be reflected out into your world. It will have no choice but to be. So you're going to persist and live in the end of having your desire. That's the key with law of assumption, is truly changing your self-concept and living in the end, because everyone and everything in your reality is reflecting you. So what are you dominantly assuming to be true about you? Because right now, you're assuming you're single. You're assuming that you're unsuccessful at manifesting. So get rid of that story. Say, that's not me. I'm done with that. And whenever it comes up, you just say, so what? That's old thinking. I know who I am. I know I'm the creator. I know that I'm powerful. I know that I always get what I want. And then it will be reflected back to you, because your world, right? Your 3D, your physical screen of space and time, the people, places, and things in your reality are just a reflection of your thinking. So you're the only thinker in your reality. No one has free will. Everybody is just reflecting back to you what you're dominantly assuming. So assume a better story. Assume a story where you're chosen. Assume a story where you're loved. Assume a story where you're deserving. Assume a story where you're worthy. And live in the end of that, and it will be reflected back to you. You're going to be successful. I know it. So just keep persisting in that new story, and just really be mindful of your new thoughts, and your thoughts will become things in your 3D, and you'll call in your specific person. And, you might want to also start with maybe some scripting. You could write down a list of characteristics that you want in a husband. Maybe it's someone who's funny, someone who's charismatic, someone who's supportive, someone who's a provider. I'm just giving ideas, but just write down a list and then start to affirm all of those things about yourself. So not about the person, but you're saying, I have a partner that supports me. I have a partner that loves me. I have a partner that cares about me. And start living in the end of that. Shane, thank you so much. Where are you from? I'm from DC. Dildy said, I love how consistent you are in your messages to us. Good, I'm so glad. And thank you all so much. Wow, we have 145 people on. Amazing. This is awesome. Trust said self-concept is king. Yeah, it really is. When it comes to manifesting, it all comes down to your self-concept. Who are you being? Who are you assuming to be? Are you assuming to be the villain in your story, the victim in your story? Who are you being? John said, I say things are always working out for me. Beautiful. I love that. I always say that too. I affirm that all the time. Things are always working out for me. Everything always works out for me. I always get what I want. Everything that I want wants me. I am magnetic. I am captivating. Everything always goes my way, right? I command my reality. I'm a master manifester. I manifest on a time crunch. Yes. Affirm all of those things. John, thank you for the follow. Trust said, have you ever manifested an apartment? Yeah, I've manifested a few homes. Yeah, it's easy. Live in the end. I recommend just writing down whatever it is that you want, right? So go to the end. Do you want a 2-bedroom apartment? Do you want a 1-bedroom? Do you want a penthouse suite? Do you want a sunroom? Do you want a gas stove? You can be as detailed as you want when it comes to your manifestation. Nothing is off limits, because you as the creator are unlimited. So start to write down whatever it is that you want. And then when it comes to manifesting houses, I always recommend using the technique called SATS, which is states akin to sleep. So what that means is falling asleep in the knowing of having your desire. So when you go to bed at night, pretend you're in your new house, pretend you're in your new apartment, lay there, smell the fresh paint on the walls, right? Imagine all the decor you've purchased. I don't know, maybe it's like, a blue bedspread, and you have a beautiful white couch or whatever it is, and fall asleep in your new place. How would you feel? You would feel relieved. You would feel satisfied. You would feel happy. You would feel grateful that you have your desire. You would feel cherished. You'd feel excited. So definitely get into the state, and that can help you with doing SATS, which is states akin to sleep, because the idea is that you are impressing on your subconscious mind before you go to sleep. And what that means is you just has less resistance to it, because you're in a state that has slower brain waves. And so your mind isn't saying, no, this isn't happening, this isn't true. Because remember, all of creation comes from your imagination. So you just have to imagine it. And if you imagine it, you can create it. You can have it. Torch said, I like that. Good. Russ said, you ever did Isn't It Wonderful? I do Isn't It Wonderful every single morning and almost every single night, but definitely every single morning. I love it. So that's my favorite technique. I have quite a few reels on Isn't It Wonderful, and I just filmed a few actually yesterday. So if you guys are not familiar, the Isn't It Wonderful technique is a Neville Goddard kind of, I would say, affirmation rampage style, where you just say, isn't it wonderful? And then you fill in the blank of whatever it is that you desire. So what mine looks like is I always say, isn't it wonderful that I'm captivating, unique, special, and one of a kind? Isn't it wonderful that I'm worthy and deserving of love? Isn't it wonderful that I'm happy, healthy, healed, and free? Isn't it wonderful that I'm abundant? Isn't it wonderful that I'm so loved and I'm so cherished and I'm so adored? Isn't it wonderful that I always get what I want? Isn't it wonderful that things always go my way? Isn't it wonderful that I'm aligned? Isn't it wonderful that I have supportive and loving family and friends? Isn't it wonderful that my life feels like a vacation? Isn't it wonderful that money comes to me with ease? Isn't it wonderful that my life is effortless? Isn't it wonderful that I'm a master manifester? Isn't it wonderful that I manifest instantly? So that's what that looks like, is kind of just a rampage. And in the mornings, I typically will do that for honestly, 5 to 7 minutes. Sometimes I have to stop myself, but it feels just so good to kind of say that. And the reason why Neville Goddard introduced the Isn't It Wonderful component to the affirmation is to bypass doubt in your brain. Because sometimes when you stand in the mirror and you say, I'm beautiful, I'm loved, you can kind of start to get in your own head and say that's not true. And you start to kind of go back and revert to the old story. But Isn't It Wonderful makes it a little bit lighter, and you start to question it less. You have less resistance to it. So yes, I love the Isn't It Wonderful technique. I think it's amazing. Oh, thank you so much, Macone. I appreciate you. Shun said absolutely. Oh, thank you, Shun Card. I appreciate you. Unc, hello. Trust said, have you ever tried the Remember When technique? Yeah, so it's similar to the one that I had just mentioned, if you all are not familiar. Remember When is putting yourself in the end of the wish fulfilled. So that's literally you having your desire. So you kind of go back into the state of, remember when he first proposed to me. Let's say you're manifesting a husband. Remember when he asked me out on my first date. Remember when we went to the park. Remember when we celebrated our birthday. Remember when we celebrated our anniversary. So you kind of have these memories, right, that technically didn't happen, right? Because when we're manifesting, we are essentially lying to ourselves. But it's getting you into the state of the wish fulfilled, knowing that you have your desire, so then it manifests in the 3D. So it's kind of a technique where you look back on already having your desire, so you can press it on your subconscious mind. Because here's the thing, guys, your brain doesn't know the difference. It doesn't. I have an entire YouTube video on Your Brain is Impartial. Definitely go check it out. But your brain doesn't know the difference between what it sees in the 3D and what you tell it, right? So it's up to you to tell it a story that's in alignment with whatever it is that you were trying to call in or manifest into your life. And I'm checking my Facebook because I'm streaming on both right now. Trust said I'm going to check it out. Yeah, definitely. Shun said amen. Timothy said words are cheap. Yeah, I mean, that's a belief some people have. So if you believe that, that'll be true for you. I think words are everything. Our thoughts and words are creating our reality. So I think words are the most expensive thing. They pay dividends for our life. It's up to us to speak positively, speak favorably, to speak in alignment with whatever it is that we want, because that's what's manifesting into our world. So I think words are actually extremely powerful. So I would disagree with that. But if it's true for you, it'll be true for you. That's for sure. Someone said, whatever the mind can believe, it can achieve. Yeah, absolutely. So remember, our thoughts become things. So if you believe something is not going to work out, your mind will achieve that. It'll result in things not going your way, and it'll be the opposite of what it is that you want. And if you can believe that things are always going to work out for you and that you are successful, maybe in your business, or you're making $100,000 a month or whatever you desire, then yes, you can absolutely achieve that too. It's what are you putting your attention and your focus and your thoughts into? What is your mindset? Are you operating from a place of lack, or are you operating from a place of abundance? Are you operating from never being chosen, or are you operating from always being loved? Are you operating from things never work out to me, or are you operating from things always work out for me? So it's really at any given moment, who are you being? That's what this comes down to. It's really that simple. Like manifestation at its core, it's not hard because you're doing it all the time. Your thoughts are becoming things. Every single thing that you think is materializing in your 3D. It's just that you're asleep at the wheel and you're thinking about all the things that you don't want as opposed to all the things that you do want. And that's because we're taught growing up, you don't want to get your hopes up, or, play it safe, or have a plan B, or make sure you have a good backup if things don't work out. We're programmed for survival. And so you have to transcend those circumstances. You have to transcend that mindset and embody the version of you that just expects the best. And if you need help with that, I have a new freebie in my bio. If you click the link, it's called Embody the Best. And I love it. I created it, but it truly is the most simplistic way to just shift your mindset and start to expect the best. It talks about going from wanting your desire to expecting it, to living it, to knowing that you have your desire, to live in the end. So definitely click the link in my bio if you want to download that. It's free. It's the top link. But start to expect the best, because then that's what you'll create, is the best. Faith said, if you are expecting, isn't that waiting instead of experiencing the now? No, because right now in the here and now, I'm expecting all of you to be taking in this information, right? You're expecting that you have your desire. You expect it. So you can look at it both ways, but expecting the best is just adopting the mindset of things always work out for me, as opposed to I'm constantly expecting doom and gloom. I'm expecting things aren't going to work out. It's about walking through life expecting the best. When you get in your car, you expect that there's going to be no traffic. When you get to the restaurant, you're going to expect that you get something for free. When you meet up with a friend, you expect that they're going to be on time. So start expecting the best. That's something you can do in the here and now. That's not putting it into the future. I mean, you can, but I just like to expect the best. Like when I wake up, I expect to have the best day ever. I'm always like, today is a great day. I don't say today is going to be a great day, because yes, that would put it into the future. But I expect today is a great day. Today is a great day, not going to be. So expect the best, because I always get the best because I am the best. So expect the best. And if you download the guide, you'll see it talks about the difference between, I think what you were getting at, Faith, is the wanting or the waiting and not having it now. So there's like a whole section on the difference between wanting versus expecting. And expecting is just an assumed state. I expect that good things always happen to me. I expect that things always go my way. And really what it does is it helps to bypass the fear and the doubt that comes up whenever we are manifesting something, right? We'll have an obstacle in mind and we say, oh, but what if this thing happens? You say, no, I expect that this is going to work out for me. I expect that I have my desire. I know that I have my desire. I expect that this will go exactly to plan. So just expect the best. Your voice is now the best. Thank you. Bill said, I expect people to do the right thing only if they can directly benefit from it. Yeah, I mean, that will be true for you if that's what you expect. If that's a rule or condition in your reality, then yeah, that'll be true for you. I expect people to just do whatever it is I want them to do, because I know that I'm the creator and I know that everything comes from me. So I expect for people to show up in the way that I'm seeing them. And that goes for good and bad. I have people in my reality and I expect them to show up as annoying, and they do just that. They show up as annoying, and then I have to tell myself, okay, no, we're going to expect that today they're supportive, or today they're not negative. And then they'll show up that way. So if you're expecting people to do the wrong thing, then they will. And then if you expect people to do the right thing, then those people will. So whatever you believe will be true for you. I would just make a reality where I expect good things, right? That's what I try and do. Catherine said, I'm curious, what do you think manifestation gave you that you weren't getting before? Knowing that I was in the driver's seat. I thought life was happening to me and not for me. So I thought that everything in my reality was just this kind of barrage, or I was going to say amalgamation, but really just, I really thought things were just happening to me, I'll say. It was more so just things aren't going my way. And it's not that I never had a negative mindset, but just when something didn't work out, I had apathy, right? It was kind of like, oh, well, it is what it is. And it's like, no, it's not, it is what it is. Because if I'm the creator, I can be intentional and say, this is what it will be, because I get to choose and I get to decide. So when I started to create the life that I wanted to live, I ended up living in Indonesia, halfway across the globe, because I know that I'm the creator and I get to have free will. Whereas before, I think that I didn't understand that we all have free will. I thought that I had to climb the corporate ladder. I thought that I had to have the 401k, the white picket fence, the health insurance, the pension, all of those things, those societal norms. And so manifestation really opened my eyes to, oh, like I get to choose and create a life that's not conventional, that's not the 9 to 5, that's not this traditional route. Because nothing in this life has meaning until you assign it meaning. Everything is neutral. So I started giving definitions to my life. I started defining what success looked like for me and not what it meant for society. So really what manifestation did was it opened my eyes to my autonomy, to my free will, to my independence, and to know that life is truly a gift and you get to live your dreams. A lot of us are waking up and going to a job, spending 8 hours there, coming home, living for a few hours. And by living, I mean sitting on the couch watching TV and scrolling, and then going to bed and doing the same thing again and again and again for 30 years until you retire and you take your 2-week vacation here and there, and that's where you live. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's not what I wanted for my life. We get this beautiful opportunity to live. I want every day to be an adventure. And that's what my life has become. 2 days ago, I was walking around beautiful rice terraces at, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on, a Saturday or whatever. I could do it on a Tuesday. It doesn't matter. The point is that I created a life where I have freedom and I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, and I don't have to answer to someone. Because that's the path that I'm choosing, right? It's not the one where I have this boss and I have to be to work at 8 and I have to stay for 8 hours. I have freedom. I have flexibility. I can do as I please. I have free will. I'm creating a utopia for myself, a haven, a garden, a heaven on earth. So manifestation really opened my eyes to what's possible. Faye said, oh my gosh, I will never say it is what it is. Yeah, because it's like that's acquiescing and saying like, okay, I just surrender my power, I give up, and I'll just, deal with whatever circumstance I'm given. And you don't have to. You get to create. You get to choose. You get to decide. Selena said, faith is the belief in the unseen. Exactly. It truly is. And that's why we have to persist in the end. When you're manifesting, you have to have faith in the unseen. Just like you believe in God. Just like you believe in the wind. You can't see the wind, but you know that it's there. So you have to have faith in the unseen. You really have to live in your imagination. That's where creation takes place, is in your imagination. Like, period. You have to ignore the 3D. It doesn't matter what it's showing you, because that's just the old story. That's just the old thinking. It's your old creation. You created that. You just weren't awake. They said, people are living in so much fear right now where citizens are not safe. Exactly. And it's like, just don't identify with that. Whenever I see stuff like that online, I literally just immediately am like, that's not my story. That's not me. And I just will scroll. Like, I'm not aligning with thoughts like that. 12.7 said, you also have to turn the word can't into can. Yeah, absolutely. So when we talk about being mindful of our thoughts, make sure you pay attention to those words. I think that's actually really good advice, 12.7. Thank you for that input, because when you start to go throughout life saying you can't do something, it won't happen, you're not capable, that's where you need to switch and say, no, I'm the creator. Like, of course I can. Anything is possible because I am possible myself. So yeah, it's really important to be mindful of those words that kind of impede your manifestation. Catherine said, sounds like you found a way to make life a little more yours. I like that. Yeah, life should be. It is yours, Catherine. That's the thing. It is yours. That's what this is. It's reality creation. So think about what you want out of life. I highly recommend like journaling or scripting all aspects of your life. Love, life, leadership, your home, vacation, whatever, your day-to-day. What do you want it to look like? And you can create that for yourself. Because you already are creating it. You're just creating potentially something that you might not like. So it's about just being intentional with our thoughts. Because you get to have it all. Whoever came up with that saying, like, you can't have your cake and eat it too, and you should be humble and all of those things, like, I don't buy into those sayings. I just am like, why would I limit myself in any sort of way? Let's see. Faith said, if we are connected about someone's health, can we manifest vibrant health for them just like that? Yeah. Absolutely. I've manifested health for myself, health for other people. I've manifested a lot for other people. Yeah. Everybody's reflecting you. So start to see them as healthy and see them as, start saying like they embody health and vitality, and they're the picture and pinnacle of health, and they're healed and they're in great shape and they're at a healthy weight or whatever it is that you desire. Yeah, absolutely. You can say they're cured, whatever it is. Yeah, that's easy. Christian said, yeah, they're toys of adolescence like tarot. I'm creating. I don't need a reading. Exactly. You know, a lot of my clients will ask me, especially when they're manifesting a specific person, about tarot. And I just say, if the tarot reader is saying that it's doom and gloom and that you're not going to have your person and they're an avoidant and it's not going to work out, it's just a reflection of where your thinking is. So tarot can sometimes be a good indicator to say, like, this is what you're dominantly assuming. They're just reflecting your thoughts to you. You're the one that's labeling them as this avoidant. You're the one that's saying that they won't be with you. So it can kind of be a good place to say, oh shit, like I've been asleep at the wheel with my thinking. Let me get on this. That doesn't mean you invest in the outcome and you say, well, the tarot reader said I can't have my person and I need to move on. No, not true. Like Christian said, we're creating our reality. So you don't have to identify with that reading. You can say, no, I'm not choosing that. I get to have what I want. I know that I'm the creator. This was a nice reminder that I need to have a strict mental diet because my thinking is off. Because it's just reflecting you. That's it. And it also does introduce doubt. And that's what Christian is saying is when you're investing in the tarot, and you're like really into the actual outcome of the reading, you're outsourcing your power. You're saying that you don't have it. You're questioning it. So don't doubt your manifestation. You know that it's yours. Bill said, are we talking about science or mysticism on this live? To me, it's all the same. It's the same thing, just couched differently. Some people it resonates from a scientific perspective. Some people it resonates from a mysticism perspective. It's all saying the same thing with a different vernacular. That's it. It's just different words. So when Dr. Joe Dispenza, he talks about this reality creation from the lens of science. He talks about how you have to meditate and use your pineal gland, and it has crystals and electric charge and a magnetic field and energy and all that other stuff. And all of that's true. He has science data to back it up. He believes that to be true, and his followers believe that to be true. And so that's their story. I love Dr. Joe. I started my journey with him. And then there's the mysticism side where people are like, the Bible is the ultimate manifestation guide, and it's showing you your Christ consciousness, and your thoughts become things. All of them talk about who are you being, right? So the science lens, the mysticism lens, it doesn't matter. It just comes down to who are you being. That's it. At any given moment, who are you being? Period. If there's one takeaway from any live I have, what state are you in? Are you in the state of lack and scarcity, or are you in the state of health and abundance? That's it. That's literally it. It's as simple as who are you being, and that's what will materialize in your 3D world. You can then frame it from the lens of science or mysticism, but it all comes down to who are you dominantly being? What are you assuming to be true about yourself? That's why I talk about self-concept work, because it's like, how are you viewing yourself? What do you believe to be true about yourself? And your world reflects that back to you. With kind of manifesting that community, they talk about it from the lens of reflection. I mean, it's all saying the same thing, and one's not right over the other, as long as it's just teaching that it's who are you being. Faith said, I'm so happy to hear you're not into crystals and tarot reading, etc. Yeah, I'm not. Christian said, yep, asking for a sign is you signaling you don't believe. Yeah, it's totally saying I don't have my desire. So I definitely don't look for signs. When I first started manifesting, I was very into signs, like very heavily into signs. Nobody can manifest a sign like me. And that's the thing is, when you're getting signs, you're manifesting the sign of where you are. So if you are saying like, send me a red heart-shaped balloon if I'm going to get this, business deal. If you see the red heart-shaped balloon, it's because you believe, you'll get it. And if you don't see it, it's because you believe that it's not going to happen for you. And you're also, regardless, placing doubt on the whole thing because you're asking for the sign. So again, everything is reflecting your thinking. That's really it. Exactly. Christian, beautifully worded. Christian said, mysticism is science we, quote, can't explain, which is perfect. I 100% agree with that. It's all the same. And I love that you put can't explain in quotes too, because there's so many different underlying things. Because remember, again, everything we give meaning to. So he's saying like, we can't explain it because we can't assign it this meaning with data and charts behind it in the same way science can. It's a miracle. It's a phenomenon, right? But it's like, why do you need to have an explanation for something that you created it? You created it because you did it in your imagination. That's the explanation. But people don't believe that. They need some cold hard facts. So it just comes down to your belief system. But just be mindful of who you're being. Thank you. Selena said, when did you discover conscious manifesting, and what led you on this path? Good question. 2020 was when I started to get into conscious manifestation. I'm looking over at my Facebook because I'm streaming on Facebook too, just to make sure there aren't any questions. So I got into conscious manifestation in 2020. I had an autoimmune disease, and I had it since, I don't know, the age of 8. And so, sorry, I'm so phlegmy. And so it was like consuming my life. Like I was so depressed. I thought no one would ever love me. No one would ever choose me. No one would ever understand. I ate like all these special foods and had a super, 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 super restrictive diet because of it. And I just was so imprisoned by my own thinking around the autoimmune disease that I just felt so incredibly trapped. And so I did this thing called core wound healing, which is something I do with clients. And it really helped me get to a place of acceptance with the autoimmune and just like, hey, it doesn't need to be the secret. It's not me. It's not defining me. It's not who I am. And then after that, the coach I was working with was talking about manifestation. And I was like, what is that? Because I've heard of it, but I don't really know. And so I started to do manifesting work with her. And that's when I actually started with Dr. Joe Dispenza. That was kind of like my gateway into manifesting. And I highly recommend his book. It's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. But it's essentially exactly that, breaking the habit of your victim story, of your trauma story, of things never work out for me, of life is happening to me and not for me, and I'm unlucky and I'm unhealthy and I'm not healed and no one will ever love me, and all of those things. And I stepped into, okay, if I'm the creator, I need to like break the habit of being this trauma version of myself and really start to identify with this new version. And so I stopped talking about the disease. I stopped obsessing about it. I started to manifest little things. I was testing and I was experimenting with like manifesting a compliment or coffee or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, like it's working. And like now that I'm changing my mindset, people, places, and things are like reflecting it back to me. And I just kept going and started manifesting bigger and bigger things. And it became a part of my identity and who I am, just knowing that I'm the creator. And I truly walk through life now in, I would say, a state of meditation, right? Where I'm just mindful of my thoughts. And that doesn't mean I never have a bad thought. I do every single day. It's just I shift it when the negative thought comes up. Or I don't even like saying negative. I just say unfavorable because, again, nothing has meaning until we assign it meaning. I was working with a client, this was like a week ago, and they were like, you know, I'm just so sick of having doubt. And I said, stop giving doubt bad meaning then. Like, let's work through this. And instead of just saying, you know, don't have doubt, just say, you know what, I have doubt on occasion and it's okay. Stop making it a bad thing. Just say, you know what, I'm human and it pops up. And then it shifted things for her and her manifestation came in like a few days later. So it's really about just life is a story we're telling ourselves and make it a good story so in that way it's reflected back to you in your 3D. So that's what led me to conscious creation and being mindful of my thoughts and knowing that we're God of our reality. Selena said, when you manifest small things and see the evidence, you really start to step into your power. Yes. So that's where I started, was with small things. And when I started to like have those realizations of like, holy crap, like this really does work. This isn't woo woo. And like all of these small things were just giving me the proof and the evidence, like you said, to understand and know my power as the creator. Now I'm able to manifest so much more and bigger things because I have less resistance, right? And that's why the small things are easy, because you don't have resistance around them. You don't have this attachment or desire. And so it's just easy. And now the bigger things that used to be harder for me to manifest, and I say that loosely and in quotes, is because they're not as hard anymore. Yeah, I have some things I have to really lock in and be intentional about, but a few years ago, in order for me to manifest the sickness away in 2 hours before I had to be somewhere, that would have never happened. I would have been like spiraling, worried, making myself more sick, and I just locked into, no, like this is not how this day is going to go. I'm not backing down. I'm not taking no for an answer. I feel fine. I feel good. I feel amazing. In fact, I feel like I'm on top of the world and I'm so healthy and my stomach feels so calm. And I just kept going in that story and things shifted in an instant. And that would have been a hard manifestation for me. So those small wins definitely help to give you the proof and the evidence so that you can really start to manifest bigger things. So Alexa said, does manifestation work better out loud with the universe, I feel shy sometimes, but I do think... So here's the thing is, you're not... Everything comes from you, so there is nothing outside of you. Like, I personally don't teach the universe. I say, like, I am the universe. I am source. I am the creator. I am Christ consciousness. I am God. I am God of my reality. So it doesn't matter the out loud thing, because everything is coming from you. So you don't have to affirm out loud. Absolutely not. You don't. If it doesn't feel good to you, don't force it. Affirm in your head. I affirm in my head most of the time. Like, walking throughout my day, I'm not saying my affirmations out loud. I mean, in the morning, I like to do a rampage out loud, but when I'm out and I say, oh gosh, like yesterday, I was on my bike and it started to rain, and I just started to affirm that it was clear skies and that it was a beautiful evening. And I wasn't saying that out loud, right? I wasn't like saying like, you know, stop raining, blah, blah, blah. I just started affirming what I actually wanted. And it really held off, because it could have been a torrential rainstorm, and it was not. But yeah, I affirmed that in my head. So you can affirm in your head. Adriana said, I hope he SP is okay. They dealing with the storm too. Just texted him to check on him. Waiting for a text back. Beautiful. Yeah. Just say, I know my SP's okay because he's here with me now. Or you could just say, I already got the text back. So envision that you already got the text. Like, look at your phone, pretend that you heard a notification go off, and what does the text say? He says, Adriana, thank you so much for checking on me. Like, I appreciate you thinking of me. I've been thinking of you. How are you? How are you doing in the storm? So yeah, it's already done. He already texted you back. You're not waiting. You are never in a state of waiting, Adriana, because you are the moment, right? This is your life, and you are the moment, and you're not waiting for anyone or anything. So start claiming that he already texted you back. It's already done. G said, does writing it in a journal help manifesting? Yeah, that's a technique people use. People will write, they'll script, they'll affirm out loud, they'll affirm in their head. You can visualize. So there's no wrong way to do it. I always say, do what feels good to you. Thank you so much for the roses. If journaling is something you like, journal. I've journaled. So do what feels good to you. It helps. Scripting is really powerful. I don't know if you've ever tried scripting, but scripting is essentially a form of journaling where you write it as if it's already happened. So you kind of like would script out what a day in the life would look like of whatever your desire is. And you would say, you know, if you're manifesting wealth, you would say, you know, today was another beautiful day. I woke up at 10 a.m. I got to sleep in because my money is working for me, and I make money in my sleep, and I had a slow morning, and then I went to the farmer's market and I didn't look at any prices, and I just bought everything I wanted, and then I jumped into my pool in the afternoon and took a swim, or whatever it is, right? So start to paint the picture of what your ideal day would look like, and you can script it and journal it. Faye said, I walked into Trader Joe's yesterday, and silently in my head I said, someone will be kind to me, and what happened? Oh no. I'm assuming they were kind to you, which I'm hoping, but I'll scroll down and see. Christian said, stop saying you're congested. Yeah, 100%. Like, that's why I know I'm still congested, because I keep saying it, so I have to stop. 1,000%. Jay said, I relish the chance to communicate. Thank you. SP is specific person. So typically in this community, when it comes to law of assumption, specific person is typically romantic. But really, when I talk about specific person, everything that I'm teaching applies to anything. So specific person could be you're trying to change a coworker, a friend, a lover, anybody, boyfriend, girlfriend, love interests, new love interests. So it's just specific person. The reason why we say specific person is, like I said, a lot of the times people are trying to manifest back their ex, and if you know that you're the conscious creator, you can't use the word X because then you're saying that you're not with them. So the term specific person was kind of developed to encapsulate all of those things. So that way you're not telling a story of they're your ex. G said, I'm ready to meet my SP, been manifesting for years. You'll have it, but definitely stop telling the story of you're ready to meet them. You need to live in the end of already having them. So what does that look like? So you're in a state of manifesting the person, and you need to be in the state of I manifested the person. It's already done. Creation is complete. So go to the end. What do you want? Do you want marriage? Do you want a commitment? Do you want a boyfriend? What do you desire? And then go to the end and live in the end of you already have it. So you're saying I'm ready. Then you'll perpetually manifest that you're ready. Okay, I'm in a state of ready to meet, ready to meet, ready to meet. And then you'll just get more of that. Ready to meet. No, you already met them. What are they like? Are they engaging? Are they intelligent? Are they funny? Are they 6'1"? Are they tall, dark, and handsome? Or I don't know, whatever your type is, if you're into men or women. But start affirming that you already have it. That's the key, is to go to the end of you already have your desire. I have to realize my reality, not to invent an alternative. If she doesn't love me, she doesn't. Oh yeah, Jay, don't do that. You're creating. So when, guys, this is very common. So what Jay is saying is he's manifesting a reality where he has a specific person, and then there's a backup plan if in case she doesn't love you. Then you're creating a story where you're manifesting a person that doesn't love you. So stop that. There is no plan B. Like, I stopped engaging with plan Bs a long time ago. Occasionally will it come up? Sure. But I'm just like, no, like, I'm the why would, like, God didn't need the Bible to get through life and to create the world. He wasn't looking at some guide, right? So he didn't need some plan. He's God. He just thinks it and creates it and it's done. You're the same way. So stop coming up with a contingency plan, because then you're saying that you're not capable and that you don't have your desire. So have brazen impotence, right? The knowing that your desire is already yours. It's done. Creation is finished because you decided it. When you say that you don't have it and you have this alternative plan in case if she doesn't love you, then that's exactly what you're creating, as a person that doesn't love you, and I don't want that for you. So don't do that. Christian said, G, being ready to meet means you haven't met them, by the way. Exactly. You have to live in the end. If you've already met, you're together. The thing is, guys, creation is done in your imagination, so it doesn't matter what the 3D shows you. That's the challenging part with this, is that people are so, like, caught up on the 3D, because we experience our material world through linear space and time, but space and time don't exist. That's just a human construct. All we have is the present moment. So if you can know in the present moment, I have my desire now, yes, it will advance into your future in terms of linear time, but you have to know that you have it now. We're creating in the 4D, the manifestation materializes in the 3D. Jay said, sorry, I know I comment a lot. That's what you're here for. Don't apologize. I'm here to answer your questions, so ask all the questions. Jay said, if I make it up, is it a manifestation because I made it up? Well, that's our life we're making up. That's what this is. Everything we're making up. So yeah, make a fairy tale, make a story. Like, that's what you're doing. You're essentially being delusional. Like, I know Delulu is a trend, but I mean, it's really real. You're creating in your mind. You're creating right now. You're creating a story that you don't like. You're creating a story of, what if it doesn't work out? Here's my plan B. Don't do that. Create the story where we're living our best life and we live in, I don't know, Florida by the beach, and we take long walks in the morning, and We live this effortless life and our relationship is easy and we see each other and we understand each other and we support one another. Tell that story. Regardless, you're manifesting. So you're making up the bad story too. So make up a good story. Jay said it was probably my fault. I always ruin things. Yeah, you're living in the story of you ruin things, so stop telling that story. Don't tell that story. You're ruining things because you have a story of I ruin things, so stop saying that. Don't tell that story anymore. 12-7 said, because the crop circles are so advanced, our minds don't know what it is, and it will unlock things. I'm going to try it. Yeah, if you believe it, go ahead, experiment. See, this is the fun thing. Like, 12-7 will comment things like this. And just like, I think someone said, like, crystals earlier. I don't necessarily believe in those things, but all possibilities exist. So if something feels good to you and you're like, I love my crystals, I love my crop circles, I love these tools and resources, they will absolutely be a viable manifestation option for you. They'll work because your belief is in that thing. So you can manifest that way. I just like to go straight to source and not add in any layers and just say, if I think it, it is done. Catherine said, I think the cold is getting the Wi-Fi. Oh no. Jay said, I shouldn't have a plan B or a last choice. I want to be chosen, but not picked last. Yeah, start telling the story. Jay, what do you want? So you say, I am chosen. I am a priority. I'm always put first. I'm loved. I'm cherished. I'm adored. Things are always working out for me. I always get what I want. I get it exactly the way that I want it and when I want it. It's already mine. You need to lean into your self-concept of who are you being, because right now you're being the person that is last choice, that's not chosen, that's not loved, that has to have a plan B, and that always ruins things. So you're creating more of that. And I don't want that for you. So start telling a new story. Jane said, what about needing a job? Like soon, LOL. I've decided my business is successful, but I need income. Okay, so go to the end of what it is that you want. So how much money are you wanting to make, right? So is it $10,000, $30,000 a month? Whatever it is that you desire, start affirming that. Go to the end. Do you want a job? Because you don't necessarily have to have a job. I mean, if you want one in the interim and it's going to make you feel good, then yeah, just say, the market is hot. I'm a hot commodity and people want to hire me because I'm so smart. I'm an asset to any team, and any job that I desires me more, and just start affirming that. But also when it comes to your business, if you want to invest in that, continue to say, my business is successful and I'm hitting all my targets. In fact, most months I exceed them. I would just go to the end of money flows to me effortlessly. I don't really worry about the how, because I like to be open to money always, in all ways, is what I always say when it comes to money. So I just say money comes to me effortlessly and easily. I don't need it to come from coaching. I don't need to come from my posting online. I don't need it to come from a job. It just finds me. I can find it on the ground. I can find it as a gift someone gives me. So definitely start affirming what it is that you do want, and try not to control the how. Christian responded to Jay and said, if you believe your plan B, you will believe something else. Exactly. Great advice. Jay said, I know I should test today as a gift. That's why they call it the present. Sometimes it's just hard. Yeah, stop telling that story. Jay, I want you to just live in the moment, live in the end, and just manifest something small. Like a smile from a stranger, or a compliment, or something. Just start testing the law, right? This is law of assumption, in just small little ways. And you'll start to build proof, and you'll start to build evidence, and you'll start to see that your thoughts are becoming things. And then you're going to be really mindful of your thoughts, because right now you're saying it's hard. So it'll be hard. It's not hard. Manifestation is instant. The second you decide Literally, creation is done. The second you decide, I want to make $10,000 in a month, it's done. Period. It's in that next moment that you're like, where is it? You instantly manifest, I don't have it. And then that is done. So that's why we say it's so important to persist in the end and know that your creation is yours. Because manifestation is instant. I get clients that ask me this all the time. They're like, how long does it take to manifest? It's instant. As soon as you decide it, it's done. Period. It's just in the next moment you go into doubt and you instantly manifest the doubt. So don't go to the plan B. Live in the end of, I'm number one. There's nobody like me. I'm a masterpiece. Of course everybody wants me. I'm one of a kind. I'm chosen. I'm God. I'm the only thinker in my reality. So why would I think of a plan B? Why would I call myself that? If I'm God, why in the world would I say I'm plan B, plan C, plan D? I'm not chosen and I ruin everything. Stop telling that story. Tell a story that serves you. Get lost in the new story. Seriously, have fun with it. Creation is supposed to be fun. 12-7 said, I'm a Delulu creator. Yeah, I love it. Have you ever tried to manifest something and it didn't work? No. Heavens, no. I would never. Here's the thing is, we decide when creation is finished. So for me to say it didn't work is for me to say I don't have my desire, and I would never live in the end if I don't have my desire. You can decide that you don't want something anymore. You're allowed to change your mind, but be real with yourself of, am I giving up, or do I just not want this thing anymore? But no, it always works. Your manifestation is a guarantee. To say that it didn't work means you're saying that you don't have it. So you're living in the end of I don't have it. So no, definitely not. Chase said, honestly, I get things like that all the time, but I just don't believe it. The cool part with this is you don't have to believe it at first. Your job is to just tell the new story. You're not going to believe it at first. That's the point. You're going to keep saying it. You're going to feel like, that's why we call it delusional. That's why the word is delulu, delusional, because you're like, I'm lying to myself. I feel crazy. I don't believe this. A belief is just a thought you surrender to. That's what a belief means. So you're going to start to think the new thought, and eventually you will surrender to it, which means it will become familiar. It'll become your normal. And then it will become your dominant assumption, your dominant belief. It'll become a part of you, your identity. So yeah, you're not going to believe it at first. You're going to just keep saying it. You're going to keep affirming it. Jay said, I've been telling myself for years that I'm skinny with abs. Bam, I'm still fluffy. Yeah, because you're telling this. You still see yourself as still fluffy. See how many body changes I've manifested? You're still telling the story of your fluffy. Your question alone says where your head is at. So you have to stop telling that story. Selena said, the secret to having it all is believing you already do. Absolutely. Yes, 1000%. Totally agree. Aaliyah, how are you? It's so good to see you. How are you doing? Aaliyah said, how do you manifest body changes? Literally affirmations. So I was saying this in a live a few weeks ago. I went to Europe and I kept eating pastries. I was literally having, like, to be honest, like 3 to 5 a day, like, and then eating in between. And I kept saying, like, oh, like, you're eating a lot, and you're gonna gain weight. And then I got home and I gained weight, and I was like, uh-oh. So I just started affirming. I was like, I'm at the perfect weight. Everything I eat makes me the perfect size. And literally, I walked into my hairdresser and she was like, oh my God, you're so small. And I was like, what? Like, I definitely, like, just got back from Europe and gained a ton of weight. She was like, you are so small. And I was like, thanks. And then I always go to this restaurant next door after I get my hair done, and I know the waitress in there, and I walked in and she was just like, Brooke, you're so tiny, I didn't even recognize you. And I was like, that's just crazy. So your world will reflect it back to you. So just start affirming. Everything I eat makes me the perfect size. I'm my perfect weight. I've done this, and I had a client do this where we taped Post-it notes to our scale, and we just wrote the weight that we wanted. So every time you step on the scale, you weigh 155 or whatever your weight is. And you're like, yes, thank God. I am at my perfect weight. I'm already here. I have the perfect curves, the hourglass figure, or I'm super fit and I have lean muscle and I'm toned. Whatever it is that you want, you just start affirming it. And then your body will change. And the thing is, I don't know how it happens, right? It's not even for us to know the how, but I just know that whenever I do it, it's reflected back to me. I have never had a big stomach a day in my life. And when I tell you I've been at every different size, it's my dominant belief that I don't care what I weigh, I will always have a flat stomach. I don't even have to affirm that anymore because I just know it to be true. It's my dominant belief. I just don't have a big stomach. I never have. It's always been flat. So that's my affirmation, right? So just start affirming whatever it is that you want, and it'll start to change. It'll start to shift. Faith said, I'm still saying I'm 5'6". Yeah, you are 5'6". Selena said, it takes the same energy to have a good or bad thought, so you may as well focus on the good. Amen to that, Selena. Absolutely, yes. It's like, why would you invest in the crappy thoughts? So then you can feel bad and have shame and have guilt and then spiral and have anxiety and sadness and depression. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. Ill. Like, I literally will tell myself ill. I'll be like, why am I ill? No, like, we're not doing that. Faithby said, how about if diabetes runs in your family? What can you say when you eat a sweet thing? Well, I would say I'm exempt from that. I would just say that doesn't apply to me, so what? I wouldn't even tell the story that it runs in your family. I always say, even with gray hair, I always say we gray late in my family. Like, my aunt grayed at 70, so I'm like her, I'm gonna gray when I'm 70. Like, I don't get gray hair. So either just say, no one in my family has diabetes, start telling that story, even though it's delusional, but who cares? Say diabetes don't run in my family, we have perfect health and perfect blood sugar. Or you could say diabetes runs in my family, but it doesn't apply to me. I've just never had a sugar problem. I'm exempt. I'm the anomaly. It skipped me. Genetically, it skipped over me. I didn't inherit that gene. And then when you're eating something sweet, I always say everything nourishes me. I don't really assign meaning to food anymore. I don't say like, this is good, this is bad. Do I do it on occasion? Yes. Like when I went to Europe and I was eating literally 5 pastries a day, my brain got to me a little bit. But for the most part, when I'm at home eating day to day, like today, I'm already planning on exactly what I'm having tonight. I'm having a brownie and this salted caramel bar from this place that I want. I was thinking about it yesterday. I was like, oh, I'm going to order that today. And I have no qualms about it. I have no anxiety. I don't care because I know everything I eat makes me the perfect size. Everything I eat nourishes me. Food is not good. It's not bad. It's just food. It's there for me to enjoy, period. So I don't really give good or bad meaning to food. I live here. Selena said, how long have you been living in Indonesia and what brought you there? Me manifesting the life of my dreams. I always wanted to live abroad. I've been to Indonesia 4 times. I love it here. I love the people. I love the culture. I love the energy. I love the atmosphere. I love the weather. I love, just everything about it. You just hop on a motorbike. Like I said, 2 days ago, I was walking around the rice terraces, which was beautiful. And then yesterday, went to a couple of beautiful malls. Like, it just has it all. Rice terraces, waterfalls, malls, good cafes, good restaurants. So I created a life that I felt like I didn't need a vacation from, and Indonesia was the place that I wanted to be. So that's where I am, is here in Indonesia. So I absolutely love it here, and this was a manifestation of mine. I've been living here for 2 months now, but it's my permanent home. We moved, exactly. Job said, wow, congratulations. Thank you. Yeah. We have free will, so we're allowed to do whatever we want. I used to have this story of why it wouldn't work out and how can I pick up all my stuff and move, and I had real resistance to it, and it's like, why not? Why can't I live here? Like, none of those excuses were real. Aaliyah said, at 8 years old, I published a book on humanities and I wrote my dream. I'm seeing my dream through. I love it. Beautiful. That's amazing. Congratulations. I love hearing stuff like that. That's awesome. At 8 years old? Wow. That's amazing. So I am going to hop off pretty soon. If you want to check the link in my bio and work with me, I do have one-on-one options. 30 minutes, 1 hour, 90 minutes. I have courses, and then I also have a free guide. So check out my new free guide because I love it. I think it's amazing. It's really straightforward. It's no fluff. It gets straight to the point of how you can embody the best version of yourself. And then if you want to watch this back on YouTube, I do post these. It's the same handle as here, or you can click the link in my bio. And then make sure you follow me on IG, because with this platform, you never know, with TikTok where it's headed. So, stay connected on all the platforms. But you all are amazing. Aseen, you said I'm a master at manifestation. Yes, claim that. You are. Financial said, I'm interested, but my phone is acting weird. Well, check the link in my bio, and there's different ways to work with me. But I will be on a little bit later, probably around 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I will see you all then. Take care, and thank you so much for joining. Bye.